it's Marcus, and I am chatting in my jungle again. I'm going over to the UK tonight, where I am speaking to an epic British metal band. I am speaking to Brady. He is from Conjurer. Hey, Brady, how are you?
Hi, I am good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hey, look, the reason why we're talking is because there is an upcoming album which is going to get released on the 24th of October. I cannot even wait to find out about that. First of all, you've had two smash singles get released from it. The first one being Hang Them in Your Head, and the second one, which has just come out, is Let Us Live. We're going to discuss Let Us Live very shortly. But first of all, let's talk about Hang Them in Your Head. What is that song all about?
Um, it's a funny one. On this record, this is the first time we've ever really talked about anything quote unquote real. Obviously a lot of the stuff on our previous albums has been quite sad and but really from an introspective point of view, like everything felt quite guarded, quite veiled, especially behind the kind of verbose language that we used. And there's still a lot of that on this record, but really, this was the first time that we were like, actually, there is a lot of stuff within society and kind of within the world at large that we feel like we want to talk about and want to kind of address a bit more directly than we ever have before. So, Hang Them in Your Head is really a it's as close as we'll ever get to like a anti-capitalist song. It really speaks about the kind of wealth inequality that is going on in the world at the minute, and how a lot of these companies that control a lot of the society we live in will speak about what they're doing for the community, or how their products can help you, or any of that stuff. But truly, when you are in a position with that much power and that much access to resources, and especially kind of financial access, and you're not actively using that power and that wealth to benefit people, like ultimately the goal of all of these companies is to create more profit and not to help people. And it is mind-boggling to us that you could get to that kind of position and not want to dedicate your life to helping others. So Hang Them in Your Head is it is a call out to people to not not give up in that fight. Like, it feels really pointless a lot of the time, I think, having any kind of um opposition to the quote unquote powers that be. But Hang Them in Your Head for me is just saying the very last place that you can resist these people is within your own mind. Like, as long as you hold on to that knowledge that this is not okay and that this is not something that you're willing to accept,
Hmm.
they can never like fully win. Like, all of these companies just want your 100% total compliance. I understand that, we live in a society, we have to engage with some of this stuff. Um, but just to hold on to that knowledge that, yeah, like, this isn't okay. This is largely fucked. And yeah, I mean, it's our call to that. It's like a personal, just having a little bit of personal responsibility of going, yeah, we all see that this isn't okay, and however much we're forced to engage with it, just don't let that feeling go.
Holy moly, Brady. I mean, look, I don't think this album could be any more well timed. So well done for that, first of all, because in the stuff that's been going on in the world, the last 7 days, just the last 7 days, has been crazy. And
Yeah.
everyone's getting affected. Their mental health is getting a great big shakeup all over again. And it's really scary. It's a, really scary time. So being able to talk about this and express this, and I mean, let's like call it out. Freedom of speech is, we need to start making sure that that is still always available for all of us, because there are so
Mhm.
many topics we need to touch on. So I'm really excited about hearing the whole album, because I think there's going to be some really good points on there. Uh, and we'll talk about the album very shortly. But obviously, let's talk about the new single that's just come out, Let Us Live, which touches on the whole non-binary subject, with the oppressor and the oppressed. Uh, wow. I mean, talk us through that one.
Yeah, it's again, it's an interesting one because having gone from being a band that has never made any kind of statement about anything before to be kind of so vocal on this is definitely something new for us, but it kind of felt like there was no other option. I remember really vividly before we were in the studio in earnest, I I'd still do this actually, spend a lot of time on the internet as we all do, but just I'll get down a rabbit hole of seeing some a trans person's innocuous post and just the comments of absolute vitriol and just like out of nowhere and seemingly for no reason and just going down this rabbit hole of trying to understand it because that's my situation. I don't understand how you can have that much hate in your heart for someone who's just living their life. And it was definitely getting me down and was something that I was thinking about far too much. And I went to Dani and I was like, hey, I actually feel like I need to write something about this. I want us to say something about this on the album because this is absolutely insane to me. And they were like, I've already started writing a song. Like it was like we were so on the same page about it. And they had, the bare bones of Let Us Live there already. So a lot of this comes from kind of love for our friends and kind of support for the community as opposed to certainly not my my direct experience as a cis man. And Danny's having come out as non-binary recently, they've said a lot. Is like this isn't me. This isn't them feeling particularly persecuted because they've had it pretty easy in their life. But we both have a lot of friends from that community that haven't, and you don't need to have friends from a community to have empathy. And that's really this song is kind of sitting down from that perspective and going, what is it? Like, what is it about my existence as a human that fills you with so much anger and hatred and just all of these really ugly emotions and feelings and words that are so unnecessary when all that any fucking person in the world wants to do is get on with their life
Yeah.
and just exist without harassment or without feeling like they're some kind of pariah. So yeah, for us, Let Us Live was just a chance to ask those questions and to show some solidarity with a group of people that are just trying to fucking live their lives?
Yeah. Be human, right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And like I said, on the last song, I mean, this subject in particular has been another one that's just risen again over the course of the last week.
Mm.
So, I mean, credit to you guys for really addressing some of these things, proud. Uh,
For
um,
sure.
so 2014, Conjurer kicked off.
Mm.
And so I mean, you've come a long way, 11 years, and it sounds like you're making the album that you've always really wanted to make. Another thing that's obviously led your direction with this album, making it so personal, is Dani Nightingale being, what's the word I'm looking for? Autism, diagnosed as autism.
Diagnosis.
Yeah, that's the word. So how has that affected the band?
I think it's really interesting using that phrase like the album we've always wanted to make, because I do feel like that is true. Um, but I also feel like this is an album that we never would have been capable of making at any time up until now. Like what we have all gone through kind of on a personal level in terms of growth and maturity over the last 11 years. That's terrifying. Has been, we are such different people to who we were when we started this band, and we have such different kind of goals in life and ways we exist. And for Dani especially, kind of getting their autism diagnosis and coming out as non-binary, it's like completely reframed the way they see their life and has given them this real sense of self-actualization. Like they are finally able to understand a lot of the things that have happened in their life in a way that they never were before. And I think that has really framed um, what has become the spine of this record, looking at all of these kind of social issues and kind of personal trauma through this new lens of understanding who they are and why they feel like they haven't really ever fit into this world. And kind of coming to us with these ideas, and it feels really easy to go, yeah, like to have some, like I said earlier, to have some empathy for another person. And really, what are universal feelings? Like everyone has felt like they don't fit in some way, across their life, and everyone has felt some felt like they go to work all the time and don't come back with enough money, and everyone has felt like their paycheck goes straight to their landlord. Like all of these ideas are pretty universal, but very kind of in the detail. A lot of this has been informed by Dani's perspective, so it's been a really um, a really different process than we've ever done with a record before. And I feel like it has really brought us all a lot closer together. Like I feel like my friendship with Dani is completely different and deeper and more intimate than it has ever been before. And my wife always likes to say that she didn't marry me, she married the band. And the band feels more like a relationship than it ever has before. That kind of like, really intimately knowing someone else and working together to achieve an end. For us, it's just, getting an album done and going on tour. But it's the same, I think, process, and us all feeling a little bit more self-actualized now has made that process easier and stronger. And I think, yeah, has directly contributed to us being able to make this album in the way that we did.
And speaking of the album, it is called Unself, which, like I said earlier, everybody, it's coming out on October the 24th. So tell us about the album. Like, how long has this been in production for? When did the first idea about it come about to obviously the release date?
Yeah. It's been a couple of years. Like Noah joined the band in, God, I want to say end of 2021, on drums. And Dani was telling me recently, like the first gig we did with Noah, we actually went out to Tasmania and played Dark Mofo. And they were in a hotel room, and as soon as Noah had got the nod to be like, okay, you're not just filling in, like you're in, he was like, right, what new material have we got? And Dan's like, we haven't even put out the record we just recorded yet. Like, what are you talking about? So kind of from jump, we started throwing ideas around, and it was really the last couple of years that we kind of knuckled down in earnest and had a pre-production session October 2024, had another one in January, and then one into the studio in March. And really throughout the last year, I would say we've really been kind of discussing a lot more what we would talk about and what would the album feel like, and where it's not a concept record, but the idea of Unself as an album title was something Danny brought to us pretty early on.
Yeah.
And really that having three three separate meanings, either to detach from the self, the idea of a lack of self, or to remove selfishness from yourself. And I think that really locks in what this record is about for me. Like I said earlier, everything on our previous albums had been really insular and really um it just feels like the songs were in our own heads, whereas this album is kind of looking outwards and reaching out to people and saying, hey, this is how we feel about X, Y, or Z. How do you feel? To give people that opportunity to be like, yeah, like I also to I also feel that, or maybe like to give people feels really corny to be like, no, you're not alone, and that we all feel that, but like it is true. I feel like there is so you can sit there. I literally do it. Like we'll sit there and look at all of these awful comments online, and you can feel like, am I the only person that thinks this is fucking crazy? That this is like not okay? And it's like, no, I think the majority of people aren't hate filled and aren't, you know, supportive of billionaires monopolizing things. Like, I don't think these are like radical ideas, but it is something that we feel passionate about, and that this record is just putting out there to people to be like, yeah, like there are other people, even if it doesn't feel like it, like there is a community of people that do just want positivity for each other and do want to connect and do want to like to look back on their trauma and go, yeah, that fucking sucked, but I'm not the only person that has ever felt that. And, you know, I and we are there to share that with people.
You know what? This is the album that's going to make people not feel lonely. There we go.
Yeah, I
That
hope so.
line. You know what? If it makes at least a few people not feel lonely, you've done a good job. Uh,
100.
but the album's going to be killer. It's going to go so well. And fingers crossed, does that mean there's going to be another Australian tour?
We are working on it for next year. Yeah.
Awesome.
We had such it was one of those things, like especially being like a small band from the UK, getting to come out to Australia was absolutely insane. That's something we've always wanted to do, but like never wanted to do in like a that would ever be possible way. It was like a proper like bucket list thing. So for us to have already done it and potentially have the opportunity to come back, like it is a real a real dream for us. So yeah, we are working real hard to make that happen for probably be like middle to the end of next year. But yeah, would love to come back.
Yes, well, you know what? We're ready for you. Hey, I got to ask you this question though as well. Like musically speaking, who's some of your heroes? Who do you look up to in the industry doing good things, writing good music, writing good lyrics?
That's a really interesting question because that has shifted so much between kind of album to album and throughout my life. Like when I first started playing guitar, I wanted to be Justin Hawkins from The Darkness. Like he was like my I thought he was the coolest person in the world. And like Matt Tuck from Bullet for My Valentine was one of those people that really got me into wanting to be in a metal band. And I feel like Matt Tuck fucking sucks. Like that's the vibe I get from him now. But really, as a band, and in terms of like what I it sounds so fucking dumb, but like talking about like legacy and things like that, like I really admire bands like Converge and Neurosis and Gojira, even to an extent, bands that have kind of just gone about their thing with minimal hype to an extent and just put out consistently good records. And I never feel like those bands are vying for the spotlight or trying to make a story. I feel like they are just being very honest with their art and putting out music that they're proud of. And like for me, that is the biggest influence in what we do as a band. Like that idea of not trying to chase short-term wins or streaming numbers or online popularity or anything that isn't just the pursuit of making art that we're proud of.
Yeah.
So I guess that's really, really those kind of bands info. Even fucking System of a Down. Like I saw them in Toronto a couple of weeks ago, and for a band that hasn't put out music in 20 years, absolutely unbelievable. Like just from front to back, one of the best shows I've ever been to. So like I love a band that is just saying I don't give a fuck anymore. Like they're at that point, they're not going to put out any new music because it's probably not going to be very good. That magic has gone, and yet they're like, fuck it, let's just go and play the songs that people actually want to hear in front of people. Like that whole attitude of putting the art first, like that's what makes me want to be in a band. So yeah, any band that you can apply that to, that's my influence.
Bang. I love it. Um, Brady, you have just given me the most amazing conversation, and I really appreciate it. It's been thoroughly enjoyable. It's made me think as well, which I really adore. Hey, congratulations on the first two singles. Like I said, everybody, please get out and listen to Let Us Live. It's really important. Some really incredible messages in that. And I wish you all the best for the album launch on the 24th of October. Everybody, it's called Unself. And I look forward to seeing you guys in Australia in 2026.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Also, have to mention if people in Australia want to pre-order the record, we have it available from Imprint Merch, who have been really good to us and helped us with everything we've done out in Australia so far. So, big respect to them.
Get all over it, everyone. Brady from Conjurer. Brady, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.